Can you state your name, please?
My name is David Martin Colbert.
How are you employed, Mr. Colbert?
I am the Montgomery County Coroner, and I am also the administrator for Montgomery County Ambulance District.
How long have you been the coroner in Montgomery County?
Almost 21 years.
And were you called on June 8th of 2017 regarding the death of Ben Renick?
Yes, I was.
And you, I assume, responded to Renick Reptiles then, the facility where he was found deceased?
Yes, I did.
Prior to your arrival, did you have any information regarding the possible cause of death?
My dispatch being to deal with a snake, that someone had done that or killed that way. And then on the way to the scene, I met the ambulance supervisor of the day on the roadway who stopped me and informed me that there was an individual at the scene that had been deceased by the axe of a snake.
Okay, so when you arrived, can you describe what position was Ben Renick in when you showed up?
When I showed at the scene or inside the reptile building?
Correct.
He was in there on his back. He was covered up with a sheet.
And is it your understanding that he was originally found face down?
According to the statement that was made by Sam Renick, the deceased brother, he said he found him in face down position and then rolled him over to assess for life to see if there was resuscitative measures needed.
And you then begin your investigation, I assume?
Yes, ma'am.
I forgot to ask this question. He was covered with a white sheet, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that part of the crime scene, or was that placed there by EMS?
That was placed there by EMS prior to my arrival.
Okay. So when you conduct your investigation, did you observe anything that led you to believe this is in fact not a snake attack?
Yes, ma'am. As I approached the body, we were still under the pretense that this was a snake attack, and so whenever I entered there, we came to the body. I removed the sheet from the foot to the head and then observed the body. I crouched down to take a closer look, and when I did this, I then saw some divots in the floor. I also saw some injury to the face that I would say was more consistent with not a snake injury, but a gunshot wound. And then I saw a shell casing on a shelf just above the decedent's head.
And after you located the shell casing, did you notify law enforcement that this is a crime scene now?
I immediately asked at the room any non-essential personnel, i.e. fire and EMS, who had followed me in to remove the body of Mr. Renick from the scene. I asked that they be excused from the room and law enforcement, and that's when I informed law enforcement that I believe there were some other circumstances that at play.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 97. Do you recognize that?
Yes, ma'am. This is a Missouri State death certificate.
For Ben Renick?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it fair and accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I move to admit State's Exhibit 97.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
97 be admitted, and then you want to put it on there?
Please.
Okay, just a second.
Can you see that on the screen in front of you, Mr. Colbert?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the person who completes this death certificate?
I do. There's a portion of it, yes, that I do perform.
And what did you determine to be the manner of death?
The manner of death is to be homicide.
And the cause of death?
The cause of death is multiple gunshot wounds. It's hard to read from here.
Would you like the hard copy with that?
Please. It's tough being blind. Multiple gunshot wounds with extensive injury to the brain and brain stem. Thank you.
Nothing further, Judge.
Cross. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Colbert, Lynlee Renick was visibly upset at the scene.
Yes.
That's what you documented in your report.
Yes, sir.
And from the time you crouched down until the time you saw the shell casing, how much time did that take?
About 15 to 30 seconds.
That soon?
Pretty close to that. Once I had reset crouching position, yes, sir.
Okay, and you found other shells too, right?
That was the only shell casing that I observed there, was the shell casing above his head located on the shelf.
And you found that within 15 seconds?
After I located, within 30 seconds, yes.
Nothing further. What? Okay, I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing.
Nothing. Did this witness be finally excused?
As far as I'm concerned, yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you so much, sir. You're finally excused. You step.
Could you state your name, please?
John Eric Eidson.
How are you employed?
I'm a sergeant with the Missouri Highway Patrol.
And are you assigned to the Division of Drug and Crime Control?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that commonly referred to as DDCC?
Correct.
Were you involved in the investigation regarding the homicide of Ben Renick?
I was.
Can you explain to us how the Missouri State Highway Patrol becomes involved in a criminal investigation in Montgomery County?
I can't give you the particulars on this case, but I assume it was at the request of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department. It's typically how it's handled.
And that's commonplace, that the Highway Patrol assists either a smaller agency, maybe they don't have the resources or the manpower or the experience to conduct such an investigation. Is that fair?
That is fair.
So you all are involved in this, and did you attend the autopsy of Ben Renick?
I did.
Why would the police attend an autopsy?
To collect evidence.
And did you in fact collect some evidence when you attended this autopsy?
I did.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 56. Do you recognize that?
I do.
Can you tell us what it is?
It is, do you want me to go ahead and just read it off, what's in the bin here?
Just generally speaking, what's inside there?
Okay, it's evidence obtained from the autopsy of Mr. Renick.
And is it in the same or substantially the same condition as when you seized it?
It appears to be.
Your Honor, I move to admit State's Exhibit 56.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
56 be admitted.
Now can you tell us what is inside, specifically what's inside that
Do you want to
envelope?
put it on here?
Yes, I can. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Appears to be 5 projectiles and 1 box of fragments of a bullet.
And projectiles are bullets, right?
Correct.
And were these retrieved from Ben Renick's body at the autopsy?
They were.
I don't have anything else.
Cross.
No questions, Your Honor.
May this witness be finally excused?
Yes, sir.
What about you guys?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're finally excused. You can step down. Thank you so much.
Thank
Call
you.
your next witness.
The state calls Darren Hasler.